Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this month's Mindful Moment webinar. My name's Evan Judge, and I'll be hosting today. And I just want to say thank you for joining. We can see that there's quite a few people already with us, which is wonderful. And today we're going to be looking at mindful movement. But before I get into that, I just wanted to introduce our panel for today. So I will start with Harjeet Moore, Head of People. How are you, Harjeet? Are you well?
Hi Evan, how you doing?
Good, good.
Yeah, really good, thanks. Having a good week so far, and kind of looking forward to the weekend to get a bit out and about and get my steps in and enjoy the weather. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah, and we've got an extra long weekend this weekend, haven't we? So that's good.
Yeah, the bank holiday.
Yeah, good reminder. There we go. And we've also got Katrina with us. So Katrina is an ESS Nutrition and Wellbeing Engagement Officer. Katrina, thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon. Very nice to be here. Thank you. How are you doing this week as well?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Yeah, I can't believe it's already the end of May, and we're doing another one of these mindful moments. Katrina, while I've got you on here, we were just talking before we started, and we were talking about the fact that it was Mental Health Awareness Week earlier in the month. Can I ask, what did you get up to for Mental Health Awareness Week? There was a lot of activity going on.
Yeah, Mental Health Awareness Week, it was fantastic to see all of the contributions and everybody getting involved in workplace. Lots of people going out, getting active, getting their groups together, teams together out on walks, and obviously touching upon that today as well, going into mindful movement as well. It was fantastic to see that everyone picked up on all the activities that we were promoting. Really good.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. So as Katrina has said, the Mental Health Awareness Week actually tied in nicely with this whole idea of mindful movement, which is going to be our topic for today. And before we get stuck into it, it's important for us to understand what it actually means when we're talking about mindful movement. So mindfulness as a general concept is about, it's a technique, if you like, of how to disconnect, ditch all the distractions and really focus in on the present, the here and the now, realign your body, reset and refocus. And that's what mindful movement is about too. So it's about actually going out and going for a walk, wherever it may be, if it's in nature or if it's in a building even, because not all of us can get out and about. And we're going to touch on that a little bit more with Haji when I catch up with her in a moment. But it's actually just about getting out there and reconnecting with the environment that you're in, and giving yourself the opportunity to think about and refocus what you need to do to be in a better state of mind, and actually just to reset the body. So I'm going to ask my first question of Katrina. And Katrina, we know within your role as ESS Nutrition and Wellbeing Officer, you look at the physical health aspect a little bit more. So what does mindful movement mean to you, and why is it important?
Lovely. So yeah, I think you've touched upon it already, just to highlight what is mindful movement, as I'm sure a lot of people are a bit confused as to what it is. So mindful movement really is very similar to the concept of mindful eating, where we try and incorporate our senses in what we are doing. So mindful movement is basically when we engage in different exercises and try and place all of our attention, or at least most of our attention, on what we are doing. So the physical sensations of being physically active, engaging in our surroundings, and also focusing in on our breathing. So there obviously are certain types of exercises which lend themselves quite nicely to mindful movement, and you might think of yoga to be one of those. Obviously, when we practice yoga, we do incorporate different breathing techniques into practice, as well as adopting our body into specific postures and poses as well. However, as you've mentioned, mindful movement can be incorporated really into anything. The most common one is mindful walking, but it can also be applied to jogging, stretching, gardening, or even a team sport. So like I mentioned, one of the most common is mindful walking. I'm just going to give you a bit of an outline as to what mindful walking may actually look like. So mindful walking would be heading out into nature, without any distractions or any technology. So for example, ditching your phone, leaving it at home so you can't scroll through social media or go through your work emails. It also means not listening to music or podcasts, but instead you'll be focusing on how you physically feel and how your body physically feels. So it might be the weight of your body with each step that you take. You might want to notice the different terrains underneath your feet. So whether it's muddy and soft or quite pebbly. You could also think about your skin sensations, the breeze hitting your face, or whether the sun's out, and you can obviously feel the warmth on your face as well. But the idea is to just become more present, to think about your physical sensations, and you can also try and engage in your surroundings as well. So thinking about different smells, different sounds. So it might be quite damp at the moment with all the rain that we've been having, or you could hear the wind through the trees, the chirping of birds, and so on. So the idea is to stop thinking about what you're going to have for dinner, the amount of work that you've got to do, but just be in that present moment and engulf yourself in your surroundings. So that's obviously just one example, mindful walking. It can be incorporated to anything else as well. It could be something like playing tennis. So actually thinking about all of the movements and the positions that your body is going through to perhaps serve the ball, and so on. So mindful movements can be used in many different ways, and it could be simply just at your desk, as you may be at the moment listening to this webinar, and thinking about and tuning in to how your body is feeling at the moment. Is it that you're quite slouched over and that obviously that's going to put pressure or strain on your back? Is it that you need to sit up more straight? And it's that sort of thing, tuning into your body and the sensations and the movements and positions that you're in at the moment also is a part of mindful movement. So just adjusting that movement. So in a nutshell, basically, it's just thinking about the sensations in that present moment, and obviously particularly relating to physical activity.
So as you were talking about your posture and how we're sitting at our desks, both Harjeet and I are thinking, oh, we need to straighten it up, we need to stretch.
Good.
So thank you for that. And it's interesting to hear that it can actually be incorporated into more than just going for a walk. You could be while you're playing a sport or doing something like that. It's just thinking a little bit more actively about what you're doing and the movements of your body rather than completely doing something in isolation. Because I always think of mindful movement as kind of something you have to do by yourself, but obviously not.
No, absolutely not. Can be used whenever. Great,
thank you. My next question would be to Harjeet, now that she's straightened up in her chair. So Harjeet, we know that mindful movement is best in nature, and we're going to be looking at that a little bit more. And Katrina's actually kind of touched on that quite nicely about feeling the different sensations under your feet and everything. But what if our team members can't get out? And what if they can't get away from the building that they're in because some of our team are stuck in one building throughout the day? How can they incorporate mindful movement into their day?
Thanks, Evan. What I find, just for my own personal benefit, is trying to not stay in this room all the time. So even if it's kind of leaving my chair and just walking around the house, I try and spend a lot of time in the garden, even if it's for 5 minutes. I don't have a big garden, and sometimes towards the end of the day I am just too tired to go for a walk, even if it's a 10-minute walk. But what I try and do is at least walk around the garden and just try and switch off. And even if I'm going to a different room, I'll just try and switch off and just focus on kind of trying to just clear my mind and just focus more on my breathing. What I've started to look at recently, and I haven't yet started, is I was looking at chair yoga. So it seems to be an interesting concept, which, you know, we could all do just sitting in our chairs, whether you're in the office or whether you're at home. Another thing that I tend to do when I'm not on video is I tend to stretch quite a lot. I mean, I do spend, you know, some days I could spend 12 hours in this room. So it's nice just to kind of be able to get up, stand, stretch, even walk around this room. So it's important to keep that movement going, as well as kind of for your mental health. It's also really good good for your joints. And you know, the amount of kind of headaches and stiffness I was feeling last year by just sitting in this chair, I found when I've incorporated small breaks during the day, it's helped me massively. And even if I've not been able to switch off and I've got to take a call, sometimes I will take my call on my phone and go downstairs and just walk around the kitchen. Again, my kitchen's not very big, but it's just anything to keep my joints going, so I don't have kind of, you know, the back pains, the headaches, the stiffness that you sometimes feel for sitting down for too long. So yeah, they're just some of the bits that I look at for myself. And again, even if you're in an office, just leaving the room that you're sitting in or that you're working in, just going for a walk around the building will help.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of those team members of ours that are stuck in office buildings at the moment, or maybe stuck in one part of a building. Maybe it'd just be a case of going down for a walk down the corridor and not taking your mobile phone with you, and not feeling that urge to be available and constantly present would help your mindfulness, at least, even if you're not able to physically get out and enjoy nature. But thankfully, a lot of our units are surrounded by nature, just by the nature of the units. So they get to go out and enjoy some fresh air and go for a walk. Thanks for that, Harjeet. And Katrina, I've got just a quick one for you. Maybe it's not going to be a quick answer, but a quick question in that what are the benefits of mindful movement? Because I know that, I mean, I do quite a lot of mindful breathing exercises, and that might just be because I'm not as physically active as I should be, but I don't do a lot of mindful movement. So what would the benefits of mindful movement be compared to just carrying on doing things as we're doing them now?
Yeah, so mindful movement isn't just sort of like a wellness trend. There are obviously benefits to mindful movement. First of all, it can obviously help with our mental health by trying to manage the symptoms of depression, especially if we're able to get outside and to be in nature and be physically active. It can improve our mood, give us that lift, and obviously release in those endorphins, our happy hormones. It can also lower anxiety and stress, as it allows us that time to actually just take a step back and stop worrying, stop thinking about all of the things that we may have to do with work and so on, but actually just taking the time out and to be able to relax can be really beneficial with mindfulness along with mindful movement. As well as this, if we are able to get out into nature, it has been seen to improve confidence, self-esteem, and we're able to make new connections. So obviously there's lots of benefits to our mental health, but perhaps one thing that's not as well known is the benefits that it may have on our physical health. So obviously it encourages us to be physically active, and we know the benefits of being physically active on our weight, reducing chronic diseases and so on. But it can actually be really beneficial for our joints and back pain. The reason being is that we become more aware of the movements that we're doing, and it can actually allow us to recognise when perhaps we're performing a movement incorrectly. So if we go back to playing tennis, it might be that actually you're not hitting the ball in the correct position, which has led to shoulder problems. Or when we're walking or jogging, we're quite flat-footed. That obviously leads to shin splints, knee joint problems as well. So it just allows us to engage more into the movements that we're doing and how to perform them correctly, and obviously making that adjustment. Again, not only to do with physical activity, but even just like workplace health and safety, how you're lifting that box at work. So whether you have got your back straight, your knees bent, and obviously lifting with your knees. So it is, again, just making it a little bit easier to tune into how you're feeling, the movements that you're making, and obviously not only beneficial for mental health, but also physical health.
I must say, Katrina, the fact that you dropped in health and safety in there made me very, very happy. I was very, very happy inside. Oh, that was good. So let's all just take a moment and try and think of one tip that we could have for people in terms of getting out and being and doing some mindful movement. Katrina, have you got a tip to tell the wonderful listeners? We've got quite a few on today. That's correct.
Yeah, so I think from my side of things, I've been speaking quite a bit about physical activity, but Harjeet had mentioned a bit earlier on that actually it is just finding that time to be able to go out and just into green space and open space and just taking that breath and taking in your surroundings. So if you don't have the time to go on that walk, then actually just stepping out into nature, taking a breath, benefits of mindfulness through that as well.
Perfect. Harjeet, have you got a tip?
Yeah, I think my first tip will be whatever you start to do, just start off slowly. So something that I started to do recently is just kind of the mindful walking piece. So just being aware of, and again, in the garden. So just being aware of my surroundings, having nothing with me, i.e. my phone or anything like that, and just kind of being more aware of kind of how I place my feet. So, you know, heel to toe. But also it's important that mindful walking, it's not about kind of getting your heartbeat going or anything like that. It's just done at a slow rate. It's just so you can then stay focused and completely switch off. And then you start to become more aware of kind of where your hands are at the side of your body, whether you move them, how your feet positions are like when you're walking. And it is just doing it very, very slowly to start off with. And again, there's lots of great stuff out there that you can Google in terms of tips, whether it's for mindful walking, whether it's yoga, chair yoga, or anything like that. But one thing I've started to do literally recently is that walking piece and trying to be more aware of my surroundings and actually just aware of kind of what I'm feeling when I'm outside and really truly being able to switch off.
Wonderful, thank you. And because it's just the three of us today, I thought I would come up with one. And the one I'm thinking about is listening to sounds. So taking in the surroundings, focus on individual noises, could be birds chirping, it could be the wind blowing, or most recently the rain falling, as it has been quite consistently. But actually just taking that in and allowing ourselves to kind of feel that and hear it properly for the first time. I mean, for so long, we just kind of go through life and we don't actually think about the wonderful and beautiful things that are around us. And this mindful movement concept is actually about re-engaging with our senses and actually being present and not thinking about the next thing we have to do, because let's be honest, we're always thinking about the next thing that needs to be done. So that is my tip: listening to the sounds around you. So before we wrap up today, I knew it was going to be a little bit shorter today, but before we do, I just wanted to remind everyone about some of the resources that are available. So as is with every month, we do the Mindful Moments on the back of the Mindful Moment Toolbox talks that come out through the team. So those are available for you now, and they are also on the HSE website and the ESS section of the website. So if you wanted to go and get them there, you can. And also just to remind you that you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the wellness team on Instagram and Twitter, and get more information and more resources there. It's great. I'm watching all the videos that I missed during the working day from Katrina and Tatiana when they posted on the YouTube channel. So that's wonderful. And just to remind you that that is all there for you whenever you want to access it. There's a load of other stuff as well. And you've also got the mental health first aiders available in the business. If you need anything, if you need any support, you can obviously reach out to myself, Harjeet, or Alan Errington if you're offshore. And as the network grows, there's loads more of us mental health first aiders within the business, which can also be looked at and sought after. If you want to find more information about the mental health first aiders, that again is available on the HSE website in the mental health first aider booklet. Am I right? I'm looking for Harjeet's nod of approval. There we go. Thank you. And then obviously, if you've got any questions, any nutrition, health and wellbeing questions, please feel free to contact Katrina or Tatiana. Leanne is currently not with us at the moment, but she will be back soon, hopefully. But yeah, if you want to reach out to either of those two, you can, and they'll be quick to respond. I know that much. And obviously there is the the wellness newsletter, that comes out every month from the team. This one, obviously there was a large focus on Mental Health Awareness Week, but yeah, if you want to get that sent straight to your inbox, just email ess.wellness@compass-group.co.uk and it will come straight to your inbox. So our next mindful moment will be on parenting with mental health problem. And we've got Andy Rees joining us for that one. So one of the business directors within the business, within ESS, who will be joining us to be a part of that panel. And I'll be also have Harjeet on with us, as well as Lisa from the nutrition team. So if you would like to join us for that one, please do. It is on Wednesday, the 23rd of June at 1:30 as always. Thank you everyone for joining us today. It's great that we've had a good conversation here. And most importantly, just look after yourselves and look after each other, and we'll be back next month. Thank you and goodbye.